Rabi, the director of the Moshe Dayan Center for Middle East Studies at Tel Aviv University. Thanks for being with us, as always, here. One thing striking, I believe, in the first just couple days of this Taliban takeover is the stance, the position, the wording, the announcements, essentially, of the Taliban as they've moved now into Kabul, taken over the country. Is it a new Taliban, or perhaps just a more media-savvy organization?
Well, this is a much more stronger Taliban than we used to have in 1996 to 2001. You know, this is actually the second time for them to come and hold the helm of reign in Afghanistan. And I would say two things in order to better explain why, in my opinion, this is kind of a much more stronger Taliban. First of all, politically speaking, they are much more experienced. They have talked to the Americans. They have talked to the Russians and the Chinese. They have a clue about how to deal with Iran, how to get money from the Gulf countries. So what we're going to get here is Taliban with its hardcore ideology, yes, but with amount of real politics that would make them survive as the new leaders of Afghanistan. Second, civilizationally speaking or culturally speaking, when they try to explain to themselves what happened, they prevailed. They had won a battle against infidels. 20 years of American presence in Afghanistan are being ended by a swift victory of the Taliban. And this, in my opinion, is something which is very, very bad for the Middle East at large. Because Hamas, Qaeda, Daesh, and others are going to have kind of a negative inspiration, of course, when it comes to the success of the Taliban. And, you know, when it comes to the Americans, I do think that the inherent inconsistency of American foreign policy has resulted in that kind of a thing. And I feel pity for many Afghans who actually gambled that this wouldn't create or wouldn't see the recurrence of that scenario. Now they have to just accept the Taliban as their leaders, and you can see Rabi, how desperate they are. In
President Biden's own words, in the last day here, that central government now gone was nothing to celebrate. In fact, there's been a lot of reports that there's even been a sense of relief in many of the cities as the Taliban's arrived, including Kabul, that this is kind of the end of the war. This is an end of a 20-year bloody chapter, perhaps, where nothing was safe, nothing was running well across the country. Do you believe that that's a short-lived sense of relief, perhaps, that's coming out as this new regime will take power, or is there something more to that?
Well, in my opinion, as I said, actually, you know, we're going to have a humanitarian saga because all these who are being marked as traitors and cooperation, people who cooperated with the United States or some other forces are going to be chased and haunted by Taliban. Afghanistan is going to be definitely, as I said before, a Puritanist country, and we're going to see all these actually scenes that we had seen before. But this time, Taliban are going to become much more sophisticated and shrewd while running actually the show. And they are going, on the one hand, become the hotbed of many radicals. On the other hand, this is, in my opinion, kind of a bad omen for Afghanistan, because Taliban is going to prevail here. I don't see any world power who is going to change that. I do see Russian, Chinese trying actually to make inroads to the new government or new Taliban government of Afghanistan. And this, in my opinion, is part and parcel of the geopolitical revolution we're going to have in the Middle East, in Asia. And the bottom line is America out, Russia, China in. And this kind of a warning sign to any whatever player we deal with to just make sure to adjust itself to to the changing circumstances.
Professor Rabi, do you think there will be more international recognition coming? As you mentioned, the Chinese, the Russians already basically indicating they're ready to accept this new country that emerges in Afghanistan. Will that follow with many more countries?
Sadly, yes, because the interests of each player, whether regional or international, this is what is going to dictate the rhythm. And we have been to that. This is a world where you cannot actually seek for justice or something that has to do with international human rights and stuff like that. We're gonna see via Afghanistan how the world is acting in a way that would tell us in the bottom line or the final analysis, Taliban is to prevail. I mean, they are to stay on, and this is a new Afghanistan. And the simple fact that they are going to get recognition indirectly, directly, formally, informally, there would be many actually colors when it comes to that. But the bottom line, as I said, is kind of a new Afghanistan ruled by Taliban, and this is something that we have to get used to.